What's going on YouTube? JT Jaborn here, and welcome to another episode of my Marvel Rewatch. Where are we at right now? We're on episode 11, day 11, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, this movie. There's stuff I like, but it is a disappointing sequel. It kind of just is a bit messy. Even when this one came out, I left the theater going, yeah, I kind of already saw that. The same army stuff that they have to fight, it's just like Loki's army. Some of the jokes just get kind of cringeworthy at times. There's so many fucking quips. It just has to set too much stuff up in so little time. It's like, oh, we're setting up this. Oh, we're setting up that. Oh, we have to fill in these guidelines. Ultron just gives 100 million fucking speeches every single time he talks, and it gets kind of annoying after a while. I like James Spader. I thought he was pretty good overall, but sometimes Ultron just gets a bit too talky at times, where he just goes on a monologue after monologue after monologue after monologue after monologue. I get so tired of his monologues, I'm ready to just pass out by the end of the movie. Other things I don't like, the Hulk and Black Widow thing comes right the fuck out of nowhere. It was never set up really in any of the movies. It just feels forced for whatever reason, and I don't get why. Other things that bug me too, the opening sequence has the Avengers all working together, trying to stop Hydra, get Loki's staff so that they can, therefore do their thing. We have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Quicksilver was played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Scarlet Witch is played by Elizabeth Olsen, who were the Brody family in the Godzilla 2014 film. So, when I see them, oh, where'd you get your brother and sister this time? Weren't you husband and wife last time? I don't know, I kind of just, it kind of takes me by surprise. But it's kind of strange how that works in this film. It's like, oh, you're married in one movie and then you're siblings in another. There's something strange about that. I don't know what it is. I know they're not related at all, but there's just kind of something there with that. Quicksilver, in all honesty, Quicksilver was done much better in the X-Men franchise than he was in here. His whole thing is you didn't see that coming. And then we have Scarlet Witch, who, upon rewatching this movie, I kind of forgot, oh shit, her accent pretty much disappears by the time Infinity War comes out. It's like she almost forgot that she had the accent, or she kind of just dropped it all together to make it easier on the actress. I don't know, it just kind of bugged me. Then there's other random things in this movie, like Thor taking going in a magic swimming pool to visit the dream world. And I feel like I heard there was a lot that was cut out of this movie originally, and that's why it comes across as being a bit messy at times, because there's a lot of stuff that was in the original script, but it just wasn't fully fleshed out enough. And you can definitely tell there's bits that feel kind of missing. The whole thing with Thor and his pool scene really doesn't make any sense. Hawkeye is done better this time. They kind of point out the fact that in the original Avengers movie, Hawkeye wasn't really given too much to do. Now he's got a family. Now he's not getting mind control. He brings up some funny points here. There are some funny lines in here, definitely. Whedon can get out a good laugh here and there for sure. What else is there? So the beginning of the movie has them going after Loki's scepter, which is an Infinity Stone. So there are some elements that are setting up for Infinity War. I just felt like going into Age of Ultron, because after the events of the first Avengers movie, Age of Ultron didn't really feel like it had too much significance to me, because it's oh, this isn't what we're building to, because Phase 1 built to the Avengers. That was the big payoff. Age of Ultron just felt like a filler movie to build up to Infinity War. And that's not something I really want to see when it comes to the Avengers movies. And that's upsetting. I wanted it to build to Infinity War first. I mean, obviously we didn't know it was Infinity War. We figured we would build to the Infinity Stones and so on and so forth. But it sadly didn't. And that's kind of a disappointment. Tony Stark is just made dumber, I think, in this movie. There's things I like. They touch onto his paranoia. And I feel like that scene is going to, when Scarlet Witch taps into his mind, and you see his fear that all his teammates are going to die because of him. I feel like that could potentially be a setup to Endgame. I don't know for sure, but we shall see. Where everyone dies but Tony. I think that would just be just a gut punch to them. They lose to Thanos again. and they just have no hope. That would be kind of cool to see, but we'll see how they pull off Endgame. I'm super stoked for that movie. It's going to be 3 hours long, which is going to be nuts. What other things? So yeah, they assemble at the beginning of the movie. They didn't help each other in their solo adventures for whatever reason. There's just too many elements to kind of juggle for this one. Whereas Infinity War may have had more characters, but it did a better job balancing out. There was like a simple focus. Stop Thanos from getting the Infinity Stones and save the universe. That was it. Ultron, it's like, we got to set this up, we got to set that up, we have this going on here. It just feels like there's just too much going on in this movie. And it just doesn't have the best focus. Action sequences, there's some good action scenes in here. The climax feels kind of a repeat, a bit of the first movie, where it's like, instead of Loki's Chitauri army, we have this mindless drone army with Ultron and his little robots. Vision just is kind of there. He just, they give him the Mind Stone. He just goes around. His powers are just kind of weird. He seems to be the most powerful, yet in Infinity War, he just gets stabbed, and that's pretty much it with him. Like, things can float through him. I don't know. There's just something weird going on with Vision. I don't know. I've never really, like, cared too much for Vision in these movies. He's just kind of been, like, one of those characters, like, yeah, you're there, Vision, but you're there. What other things? Tony is the whole reason Ultron exists, because of his paranoia and fear. So he ultimately causes a ton of destruction thanks to his creation, just meddling with things he shouldn't do, as Thor brings up. Captain America is still the inspirational figure, although there's a moment where he's just like, language, which is kind of a funny line, but at the same time, like, Captain America was swearing in, like, the Winter Soldier. I mean, what's going on here? Yeah, there's just bits like that I just don't particularly care for. What other things can we say about Avengers Age of Ultron? The action scenes are good. The death scenes of, like, Quicksilver, didn't really care for it too much. Hawkeye was good. The Hulk and Black Widow romance is awful. It makes no sense in the context of the movie. It just kind of comes out of nowhere and feels really forced and tacked on. It just makes me question, like, where the fuck is Betty Ross? Like, in all the teammates, like, so you and Romanoff, hey, you all just, Captain America's like, you both deserve a win. And I'm like, yeah, he had Betty Ross. Where the fuck is she? I mean, where is Liv Tyler? What's going on there? Like, that still irks me to this day. I'm like, she was, like, his world in The Incredible Hulk. And that just is seemingly gone. It's like they don't give a shit about what happened in The Incredible Hulk. Yeah, I get it, Marvel. It's the lowest grossing film in the cinematic universe. But it wasn't originally. Well, actually, yeah, it was. When it came out, it was the lowest one. It's never, there's never been a movie that's made less. But you get my point. It's like, the movie still exists. General Ross is still around. William Hurt shows up from time to time. Like, he showed up in Civil War. He showed up in Infinity War. Well, where the fuck is Betty Ross? Where's Tim Blake Nelson? Where's Blonsky? Where are these people? It irritates me that we don't reference these. I didn't hear rumblings that Blonsky was going to show up in another movie. I mean, hell, we had to wait like 7 or 8 years for the Red Skull to show back up again. So, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Betty Ross and that can show up somewhere. I don't know. I just want to see. I do want to see Liv Tyler back in one of these movies. I think it'd be kind of cool to see some plot lines referenced a bit from The Incredible Hulk. I know they switched actors, but come on. Other things, I do like the scene where they, I really kind of like the scenes where it's just the Avengers talking with each other, just kind of hanging out. I feel like that's probably the best part of the movie, is when they're all just sitting around lifting Thor's hammer, and you see which ones are worthy. I feel like Captain America isn't really trying at this point, and when Thor sees him kind of like slightly move it, he just gets a little scared shitless, like, oh, snap. I feel like if Captain America really wanted to, he could lift the hammer, but he's kind of humble. He's such a humble man that he doesn't really feel it necessary. Yeah, Captain America's a good dude. He's a good dude in this one. He still is that, like, figure that, like, everybody should look up to. Is this movie, this movie isn't overall one of the best MCU films. In fact, it's, like, in terms of our rewatch, I'll say it's better than a couple Phase 1 movies and a couple Phase 2 movies. In terms of Phase 2, I'd rank it third overall, right behind Guardians of the Galaxy and The Winter Soldier. It's better than Iron Man 2, it's better than Iron Man 2, it's better than Iron Man 3, it's better than Thor: The Dark World, and it's better than whatever all those movies I listed was. So, yeah, that's That's all I really have to say about Age of Ultron. I was kind of underwhelmed with the sequel. I can still watch it and get some enjoyment in it, but by the end of the movie, I'm kind of checked out overall. There's some good action. There's some good laughs here and there. Ultron is kind of a fun villain, although he just monologues too much, but other than that, there's just something about this movie that just doesn't really, click with me. Oh yeah, and then Thanos kind of shows up in the mid-credit sequence. He's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And granted, we know what Thanos did now, and he's great, but before Infinity War, man, it was getting annoying. It's Thanos, fucking do something already. You gotta think back to that time frame. Like, fine, I'll do it myself. So, yeah, there's that. Avengers 2, not as good as the first one. Not even really close in my eyes, but there are some things to like, so. Take it for what it's worth. Go check out Age of Ultron. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Did you like or dislike this film? Yeah, let us know, and we'll talk to y'all later. See you next time as we talk about Ant-Man.